Hello, viewers, and welcome to the latest episode of the GI Huddle. I'm with Michael Silberling, CEO of Metropolitan Gaming. Michael, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's good to speak to someone actually for a change, also in London, because obviously a lot of land based in US, a lot of developments in Asia, but obviously you're with Metropolitan Gaming, and I wanted to start off by just giving you a chance to maybe introduce what you do at the company and walk us through your journey with the organization so far.
Yeah, so look, I've been with Metropolitan Gaming since 2021. We've certainly been busy so far. We've bought casinos, we've sold casinos, we've refurbished casinos. We sold our South African business to a South African purchaser. And I think that business will be better suited with a local owner. We've bought a casino in Mayfair. We bought the Park Lane casino, which we're very excited about. We've refurbished our business in Mayfair. The former Playboy Club is now the Metropolitan Mayfair, which I think is, with some bias, is the nicest, certainly the newest casino in Mayfair. We're rolling out a new brand. We have a new loyalty program. We have a new app. Last month, we started a new online business. We have strengthened the management team. So we've certainly been busy in my time here.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely sounds like a lot of developments. The online launch is something we'll definitely get into and speak about. So a question I'm very keen to ask and interested in the answer is your personal experience. You were with Caesars in Nevada, so you've seen Las Vegas and now the London casino side. I'm sure it's very different in their own ways. How did the experiences of kind of being at C-level and executive level in Vegas and London, how do they compare?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't mind, I'll meander, but I'll get to the answer to that. I've worked in Australia, I've worked in New Zealand, Canada, Africa, South America, Asia, Middle East, UK. I've worked in the US, Vegas, certainly, as well as other jurisdictions in the US as well. I worked for public companies, private companies. I've worked for the government. I've worked for family business, and I try to take a little bit from each one, both the good that I like and what I dislike as well. So in Vegas and in Nevada, that business is so intertwined with the state's economics. The state is pro employment, pro capital investment, pro tax generation, pro tourism, and they certainly have a regulatory environment to keep the gaming environment safe for people and to keep folks that they don't want in the business with unsavory backgrounds out. But it's a very pro business environment in which you get these very large developments that have the entertainment and the restaurants and the shopping and the spas and the golf clubs and all the rest. I find the UK gaming environment to be very different in terms of the bricks and mortar casino business is only allowed in permitted areas, and there's significant restrictions in those permitted areas, notably only 20 machines. Mm-hmm. So I find it very counterintuitive that anybody with a mobile device in the UK, be it a phone or an iPad, whatnot, computer, can wager. They can go online, they could be in a schoolyard, they could be in a church pew, and they could go online and wager. And yet the UK government wants a land-based casino to only have 20 machines. Someone could gamble 50,000 pounds on a spin of a roulette wheel, but I'm limited to a few pounds spin on a slot machine. So, to say that they want to limit wagering would be one policy decision, and yet anyone with a mobile device can wager anywhere, anytime. And yet in a land-based casino where we have people at the door to make sure people aren't underage, to make sure they're not drunk, to monitors people behavior, to see if they're, muttering or unhappy about their wagering activity in this area, which is the safest place for a UK citizen to wager. We have all these restrictions, and these restrictions inhibit what I think should be public policy goals, which should be maximizing employment, maximizing capital spend, maximizing tax income for the government, encouraging tourism, once again, in an environment which has controls to make sure customers are safe and unsavory elements stay out. So I find the UK environment to be slightly counterintuitive. And I haven't even gotten into the affordability, right? I can go into a Savile Row and buy a suit, and they don't ask me if I can afford it. My daughter, who has my credit card, can go into a nightclub and spend, she's 22, she can spend money on a bottle of champagne at a table, and no one asks her if she can afford it. And yet recently, when I spent less money than a Savile Row suit or less money than a bottle of champagne, I tried to place a wager for the Las Vegas Knights to win the ice hockey Stanley Cup. And I was confronted with a series of onerous questions about my ability to afford what is a legal activity. So yeah, that's my take on Las Vegas versus the UK.
Yeah, I mean, I can totally see why that stands out to you, coming from, as you say, that pro business, pro gaming culture in Vegas. Given everything that you've said there about the as we know is a tightly regulated market in the UK, as someone who's front and center in the industry, how would you describe how kind of UK casinos and the land-based sector in general is performing right now?
Yeah, look, the only way is up. They were closed during the pandemic, so not only was there no revenue, but people generally had some cost to maintain their facilities and staff. So most people were in a negative position. So I think that we've seen significant year-over-year growth from all the land-based casino companies coming out of that. I think we'd like to get back to and exceed pre-pandemic, pre-COVID levels quicker. There's been a number of macroeconomic headwinds. I think that we've had 3 prime ministers, 2 monarchs, the largest European war since World War II, driving inflation and factor costs of labor and food and energy up, and certainly impacting people's disposable income at homes as well. So, we're pleased that we're getting year-over-year growth coming out of the pandemic, but we certainly would like to see, stronger revenue growth and less pressure on the cost side. So it's hard work, but we're pleased with the progress that we're making.
Mm-hmm. Something that was obviously quite newsworthy when it came out, the gambling white paper, and I commented at the time that was something where I could actually, when I came home, I could have said to people, oh, my industry was actually on the BBC today, kind of mainstream news, which isn't often the case unless it's for other reasons. But overall, we've talked about kind of macroeconomic headwinds and regulatory pressure, but has the white paper's recommendations, at least in the long term, benefit the land-based sector? Because, for example, you mentioned the restrictions of 20 machines. Obviously, one of the things put forward was for that to be increased. So, are there some things you can hopefully look forward to off the back of these recommendations?
Yeah, look, I don't want to count my chickens before
Sure.
they're hatched. And they're still in, and I hope I don't get the technical term wrong, but they're still in consultation. Mm-hmm. With the recommendations and findings that they've come out with. I'm hoping it'll be a win for consumers. I'm hoping that they get more machine choices. I'm hoping that we get more vendors in addition to IGT and Novomatic entering the market. I hope the random number generator, the RNG, gets approved. Right now, in order to have an electronic table game, I have to have a physical gaming device. So, for example, a roulette wheel with a real ball is needed to have an electronic roulette game, and that's more challenging with blackjack and baccarat to have a real cards. So the random generator would, once again, in terms of more consumer choices, give them the ability to play blackjack. Typically on electronic table game, we can offer lower limits to customers. So that would give them not only choice of a new electronic table game, but would also give them flexibility in the amount that they wager. Cashless, once again, I don't know why that's a debate. I don't carry cash anymore, whether, it's my morning coffee or, I'm putting, money to my trainer. Everything goes through my phone these days. I literally don't carry cash, and yet we have these archaic rules around the use of cash in a casino. So I hope cashless comes through as well. There's discussions on credit. Once again, as a matter of public policy, you would want high net worth individuals from foreign countries coming in and spending money and wagering in your country, and yet our inability to offer credit, whereas other worldwide jurisdictions do. And these customers, some people call them whales, but there's customers below the whale level as well that you would want to come in and wager. They don't carry bags of cash with them to wager 20,000 pounds. You can't even bring 20,000 pounds into the country. So it's a matter of policy. I'm hoping we can give these high net worth individuals from other countries credit as well. It would be only to the benefit of the tax income of the UK, certainly commercially advantageous for us, and would allow people to come here that might not come here because of they have the ability to go to any country in the world, and they might not come here based on that. So look, I'm optimistic on some of the things that have been discussed, but we need to see how they translate additional machines. It's funny to me that I'm excited to go from 20 to 80 when I've run facilities that have had thousands of slot machines, but nonetheless, 80 is better than 20. And the rules around random generator, cashless credit, I think are all positive, and I hope they come through in a manner that's not too restrictive for more customer choice and flexibility.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned the app launch earlier. That was an exclusive story on the Gambling Insider website. Obviously, I'm not going to ask you why have you done that, because I think it's rather obvious. But why particularly now, and why in kind of what's the strategy behind how you've done it as well? You've partnered with Aspire Global. Can you tell us a little bit about the process and the decision making and that kind of thing?
Yeah, look, I mean, when you say why now, I would have done it sooner if I could. It took a while to put everything together. We were the largest land-based casino company that did not have an online offering. We have a large database of customers that empirical evidence shows are wagering online, but they're not wagering with us. So it seems to be pretty self-evident to try to keep them in the family. In terms of partnering with anybody, the ability for us to generate our own technology and our own infrastructure, I think that would have been a challenge for us. So, we certainly came to the opinion that having a partner was the right way to go. And then in terms of using Aspire as a partner, they're a global, well-established business with a strong track record in regulated UK market. We were happy with their content, and I think that they just had a great partnership approach to working with us in our land-based environment. So it was a little bit of de-risking the environment to partner with someone rather than doing it all ourselves, but we've been very pleased with how it's gone so far. We've got live roulette up at our Empire casino. We've got live roulette up at our Manchester casino, and hopefully more content and more things to come as we go forward. And so all of the customers in our loyalty program now have an online option to go to.
Yeah, absolutely. As you say, I'm sure it's just the start. Plenty to look forward to online. And speaking of it, you mentioned looking forward. My final question, looking ahead, we're just about halfway, maybe a little bit more than halfway through the year. No, it's a little bit less. I'm getting confused with my own math there, but effectively, it's somewhat of a halfway point for the rest of 2023 in terms of goals and targets. You know, what is Metropolitan Gaming and yourself? What are you aiming for? Is there anything tangible that you want to say? But if we've achieved this by the end of the year, you know, we're happy, so to speak.
Yeah, sure. Well, I gave you a bit of a travelogue as I described all the different places that I've worked before, but kind of a core mentality that I keep with me is what is our commitment to customers? What is our commitment to our employees? What is our commitment to our financial stakeholders? And what is our commitment to communities? And so, I really think in all those areas. So in terms of commitment to the communities, we want to continue to offer a safe and responsible environment. We just got voted as the compliance team of the year in Europe. So doing business the right way is important to us. So I hope that compliance focus continues. We'd like to continue to roll out the new brand, the Metropolitan Gaming, which should include things from literally capital investment and refurbishment to the smell of the casino to our loyalty program. We'd like to continue to put capability into our app. We'd like to gamify and give more reasons to engage with that. We'd look to we have unused licenses in Leeds and Birmingham and London. We would look to see if there's anywhere that makes sense to deploy those and just continue the growth trajectory as we've done, all these things in such a short period of time. And hopefully the macroeconomic headwinds, we've seen energy prices come back a little bit. So hopefully the macroeconomic headwinds get a little bit less. A rising tide floats all boats. And it would be nice to continue to grow, which I think is a great leisure and entertainment business here in the UK. So that's my focus for the rest of the year.
Absolutely. Well, thanks very much, Michael. Fascinating to speak to you. We can all hope that the macroeconomic conditions improve, but certainly best of luck for everything Metropolitan Gaming is looking to achieve in the coming months and years.
Thank you so much. Have a great afternoon.
Thank you.